Hello YouTube, I wanted to make a video about my Smith&Wesson 686 and my recent experience with Smith&Wesson's customer service department. I purchased this Smith&Wesson. I believe this is the 686. That's all it says, but I thought it was called the Plus because it is the 7-shot cylinder, the 6-inch barrel. Last fall, and I got it used. I think I paid $625 for it, and it was in really good shape, so I was satisfied with the price. I was going to use this gun as a silhouette gun and shoot still silhouette targets with it at my local range. Well, when I got the gun, I shot open sights with it a little bit, and I wasn't very satisfied with it, so I decided I was going to put a scope on it, and I did. I got I think it's called a Wigland mounts and scope rings, and I got it's a cheapo $100, I think it's a Simmons scope I put on top of it. Well, I tried to pattern with it, and it wouldn't pattern. It wouldn't shoot anything less than about 2.5 to 3 inches at 25 yards. So I tried 4 different types of factory ammo and 3 different weights of bullet, 3 different types of powder, and countless different weights of powder, trying to find a recipe that would make this gun shoot. So let me see here. I'll open it up and you can take a look at it. I took it to my local dealer and had them send it back to Smith&Wesson. And Smith&Wesson told me, they said, well, you can send it back to us, but it's not going to be under warranty because it's bought used. And I said, well, that's fine, I understand. But I'll send it back to you if you can take a look at it, and if I have to pay some extra to get it repaired or whatever, that's fine. I've already got $625 in it. I got to do something because it won't work for me the way it is now. So they told me about 2 months to get it word back on it, and about 4 months before I received it back. Well, after about 3 weeks, my dealer called me and said that my gun was back, and I said, well, that's not possible. They told me it was going to be much longer, and she said, no, it's here. And I said, was there any paperwork in with it? And she said, well, just a packing list, and there's a target in here. So here is the target that they sent. It says customer target, serial number, and they left that blank, and then the distance 25 yards, 2 3/4 inch group. And on the back it says send to customer. Well, a 2 3/4 inch group at 25 yards is going to be a 5.5 inch group at 50 yards, or an 11 inch group at 100 yards. Now for a 6-inch barreled revolver, that is not acceptable. Well, I called Smith&Wesson. I spoke to a very nice guy named Jeff and asked Jeff what the spec was that it had to fall within. I gave him the serial number and everything, and he put me on hold for about 5 minutes and came back, and then he said any Smith&Wesson revolver with a 3-inch or longer barrel has to shoot under a 3-inch group at 25 yards. Since my gun shoots a 2 3/4 inch group, it falls within the spec. Now, I'm not happy with that. I think that's garbage, but Smith&Wesson is not going to do anything about it, and as far as they're concerned, the gun goes bang and lead goes down range and everything's fine, and there's nothing wrong with this gun. The problem that I have is that my wife's 642 will shoot a 2 3/4 inch group at 25 yards, and it's a double action snub nose. So I want to make this video and post it because this gun is going on the block here shortly. I'm going to trade it off because for what I want it for, it's just not going to work. So I've got to find something that I can hit the steel targets with. And before I did, I wanted to make this video and let everybody know that if you get a gun from Smith&Wesson and it shoots a pattern like that, then there's nothing wrong with that gun. It's perfectly acceptable and everything's fine, and don't pay any attention to the fact that you can't hit anything with it at 50 yards. As long as it shoots a 3-inch group at 25 yards, the gun's just fine, and you're asking too much of it. So, yeah. Smith&Wesson customer service was kind of poor in this instance, I think. But, hey, we'll trade it off and try something else. Thanks a lot, YouTube.